Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. So I was asked by Prashanta Machadi to take this course on 6 systems of philosophy, which is known as Shad Darshan. About 4 or 5 years back, I don't remember, the same classroom, I did the same course during Kartik. There were 2 students. And one was Prabhupada disciple, very intelligent, who came to India after 25 years, first time. And he came just because this course was there. I was shocked when I heard this. I thought, And somehow he liked this. Though that course was primarily meant for a new audience, means it was just an overview, what exactly these 6 things are, how you can find these things in our philosophy, in the evolution of our philosophy. But when Mataji told that this time I want the Bhakti Revival students to know this thing, so then I thought I should go a little bit one step ahead, deeper into them. Not the full details of it, because you cannot do that, because each one itself is a study for years. Just a little bit more deeper into that, what exactly they are, how they are, where they are right, where they are wrong. We'll touch on these aspects also. So before I start this thing, I just want to know the background, because now the audience are not Bhakti audience, isn't it?
They are not, and they are. Some of them.
Yeah, some of them. So let me know what. I just want to know whether they have done Bhakti Shastri or not, or if they are doing Bhakti Shastri, have done Bhakti Shastri, or they are doing Bhakti Vaibhav. If they are not even done Bhakti Shastri, I want to know the percentage. So, you have not done Bhakti Shastri. Okay. How many of you have done Bhakti Shastri? Okay. All of you done Bhakti Shastri. And how many of you are doing Bhakti Vaibhav?
Bhakti Vaibhav means when it will be on, yes, there are several people.
Or aspiring to do Bhakti Vaibhav?
Yes.
Okay, aspiring to do Bhakti Vaibhav. So most of you. So audience mostly are the same, except so I'll go as it is, as I prepared. I don't want to now reduce the gear. If the Bhakti Shastri has not been done, then I need to do the same thing which I did last time. So the procedure will be, because I am doing it for the first time in this level. I have done this course 3-4 times at a lower level. At a higher level like this, I am doing it the first time. I don't know how long it's going to take for each session. But as a speculation, because mostly all the 6 systems of philosophy deal on speculation. So I made a small schedule. The schedules is like this, starting from today. You have the paper with you. Today morning, we'll be doing Vedas in overview. Today evening, we'll be doing introduction to the 6 systems of philosophy, what exactly they mean to us in our Gaudiya Vaishnava life. How much they mean, how much they don't mean to us. And starting from tomorrow, the real subject starts, Nyaya and Vaisheshika. They're together actually. So tomorrow we'll try to finish both. Though I mentioned morning session Nyaya, evening session Vaisheshika, Nyaya may take more, and Vaisheshika will just add some points which are not there in Nyaya, and then see how they are refuted. And then Sankhya will take a long time, because Sankhya is well known among devotees. This word Sankhya in Bhagavad Gita appears, in Bhagavad Gita it appears. So, and then we have 8th morning, we'll try to do Yoga and Karma. They are actually like Nyaya, Vaisheshika, Yoga and Karma are also similar. One is the theoretical aspect, other is the practical aspect of it, that's all. Actually, Sankhya, Yoga and Karma and also same, but still we just grouped it in a different way. So Yoga and Karma. And 9th, we'll be doing Uttar Mimamsa, that is Mayavad. Uttar Mimamsa. And ninth evening we'll try to do Uttar Mimamsa, that is a Vedanta written by Vyasa, the Vaishnava conclusion. Ninth and 10th we'll dedicate Tattva Sutras if time is available. Otherwise, we'll just continue with Vedanta. Because Tattva Sutras are the simplified way of presenting the Vedanta. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he has done a very wonderful job of the entire Vedanta, which is so complicated. He has presented it to us in Tattva Sutras and Tattva Vivek, and he has presented it in the Amneya Sutras. So we'll be trying to do Tattva Sutras if possible, because if you want to know the Vedanta entirely, it's very difficult. But the Acharyas have explained, if you study the Tattva Sutras, you don't have to read Vedanta. So that is why we'll be presenting Vedanta Sutras as presented by Bhaktivinoda Thakur in Tattva Sutras. That is why I kept 2 days for that. Let us see how it functions. I may not be able to really promise you that we'll be following the schedule as it is, but this is a tentative thing, because before we start the seminar, we should know what exactly is going to happen in the next few days, because you're giving a lot of time. That's why I made this paper for all of you. I got another paper called Shat Goswami Ashtakam that we'll be chanting every beginning of every class, because Nana Shastra Vicharanaika Nipuno Sad Dharma Sanstapako. So what is this Nana Shastra? It can mean anything, but fundamentally it's existence of philosophy. So Vicharanaika Nipuno, they were experts in that, and that is why they could establish Sad Dharma. For why? Lokanam Hitakarino Tribhuvane. So we'll be singing this, worshipping Shat Goswamis through this prayer, so that we will not be Nyayis, we will not be Vaisheshikas, we will not be Yogas. We should not deviate. So our Guru Nishtha will help us in not deviating from our philosophy. So if we depend on our own mental abilities to understand them or trying to explain them, there is a chance, because of our scholarship or because of our understanding or intelligence, we may deviate from the pure Gaudiya Vaishnava principles which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the 6 Goswamis have given. So that is why these are the original Siksha Gurus according to Chaitanya Charitamrita. H.A. Goswami, they are 6 Siksha Gurus. Now Siksha implies both things, Vidya and Avidya. So Vidya means knowledge, Avidya means ignorance, in simple terms. So we should know what is Vidya and what is Avidya. Vidyamcha, Vidyamcha. Yastadvedo bhayam saha. Yastadvedo bhayam saha. One who knows both the things, then he will not be bound with this material world. So we should know Vidya and Vidya. In other sense, to simplify this thing, knowledge means to know what is right and what is wrong. If you just know what is right, there may be a chance that you may think something wrong to be right. So that is why we should know both right and wrong. There is a nice, wonderful incident in Ramayana. The war is about to get over. Next day, Ravan is about to be killed. Ram told Lakshman, "You go to Ravan and learn." Then Lakshman told, "You are there along with me. Why I should go and learn from him?" Then Ram told, "If you are with me, you will know what is only right. If you go to him, he will teach you what is wrong." Then Lakshman went there, and he stood at the head of Ravan, told, "I came to learn from you." Ravan did not speak. So then Lakshman came and told Ravan that, "Ram, what is this? He is not speaking anything." So then Ram told, "Where did you stand?" At his head. "When you learn, you should stand at the feet." So Lakshman went at the feet of Ravan, and then Ravan spoke, "What all things one should not do in life." So then Lakshmana got the certificate that he knows everything. So everything means Krishna is complete. Complete includes incompleteness also. So incompleteness means wrong understanding or incomplete understanding. So complete understanding also involves incomplete understanding. What are the incomplete understandings? What are the wrong understandings? What are the abhas understandings? And these are all spoken in Nyaya so much. So I'm just giving a trailer of what exactly Nyaya is. So if you sit in front of Nyaya, the only thing you should be happy is if you don't go mad. Because they speak so many things to confuse you. So to not to be confused with them, we should know what is wrong also. So that is why we are going to do this course. Of course, today evening we'll be discussing more about why are we doing this course. What is necessary. I should not use the word necessary because it is not necessary. But it is one sense good also. Why it is so, that we'll discuss in the evening, because that is the subject matter in the introduction. So what we're going to do in the morning session is, we're going to do an overview of Vedas. This is a separate course in itself, which I take generally for the children and for new devotees who are very inquisitive about what Vedas are. This course contains 7 lessons. I thought of incorporating this here because this will be not only helpful for you to know, you can use this many places wherever you go to preach. That's a very nice, wonderfully composed 7 lessons, which gives what exactly Vedas are. We are completely bewildered. When we say word Veda, what exactly? We heard there are 4 Vedas. Have you ever seen the whole book of Samaveda? Some people say, I saw something somewhere in the library. Have you ever seen what Yajurveda is? No. We say we are Vedic. But what exactly these Pancharatras are? We say, we are Pancharatric worshippers. Have you ever seen a Pancharatric book? So, we'll have a overview of what exactly the entire Vedic literatures are. Generally, this is taught in Bhakti Shastri also. But we should have the knowledge of this particular course before we enter into Shad Darshans. Otherwise, there will be no link. So to have a very broader perspective of what Vedic literatures are, that is the purpose of this particular morning session. We'll be running through these chapters because this goes for 7 days for 2 hours each. So we're going to do it in just 3 hours. Only to warm up ourselves. It's very cold outside. This course is going to warm up for the next few sessions. That's the reason for this course. The course material which is given to you, it doesn't contain the charts which are there here. That will be given in the afternoon because I don't have the soft copy of these charts. So I'll take the Xerox and give it to you later. So before we start, you have any doubts or any questions, how we are going to go, etc., etc., clarify that. Anything you'd like to clarify, you want to ask or something like that. Yes, Basi, anything before we start? Any? Yeah, we got 2 devotees can share and Mataji can have one. So anything you would like to say or ask, Mataji? Anything? Anything you would like to say or ask or something like that before we start? Is it okay? The small introduction which I gave for what's going to happen for the next 7 days. Okay. Lesson 1. Vedas. We have somebody read this. Most of the things, rather 90% of what is written here is compilation from Prabhupada books. So, can you read it? Because most of you know all the first lesson part of it. Next one we'll do.
Vedas. Veda means knowledge. The original knowledge is the teachings of the Vedas. In the conditioned state, our knowledge is subjected to many deficiencies. There are 4 defects that a conditioned soul has: committing mistakes, subject to illusion, cheating propensity, and imperfect senses. These deficiencies make us unfit for having perfect knowledge. Therefore, we accept the Vedas as they are.
Okay, very good. So now when we say Veda means knowledge. Veda means knowledge. I have a question here. There is a hunter in South Africa who is hunting birds. Where did he get the knowledge from? How to hunt the bird? Where did he get it from? Yes. From Paramatma. Oh, you should be self-realized for that. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, to hear the voice of Paramatma, you should be peaceful. You should be peaceful. What are the words which says that? Paramatma samahitaha. When your chitta vrittis are gone, means no agitations in the mind is there. So then we can realize Paramatma and you can hear the words of Paramatma. So he's a hunter. He's not Brigari. Where did he get that knowledge from?
Might have learned from his father.
Okay, where it is coming from? From Veda. Any knowledge, you name it, whether that is physics or microbiology or you name it, it is Veda. That's to be understood. Veda is not that there is some knowledge, there is no knowledge which is beyond the scope of Veda. There is no ignorance beyond the scope of Veda also. The ignorance is nothing but what? Misunderstanding, incomplete understanding, or the shadow understanding of the original knowledge in the Veda. Like for example, today physicists are there. What is modern physics? It is the misunderstanding of the original physics in the Veda. It is not something separate from Veda. For example, somebody reads Bhagavad Gita and has wrong understanding. So, where did that wrong understanding come from? By his wrong perception of Bhagavad Gita. It came from Bhagavad Gita only. The base is Bhagavad Gita. The base is Veda. You name a knowledge in the entire world, entire existence. It is all within the Vedic literatures. But only misunderstanding, incomplete understanding, or the shadow understanding. These are the three misconceptions a conditioned soul can have. Somebody can say something which is perfect and imperfect. The imperfectness is because of three things: incomplete understanding, misunderstanding, and shadow understanding. So this is why imperfectness comes. But ultimately, any knowledge, you take it, whether it is building a house, whether it is cooking, whether it is sewing and making a sweater, knitting a sweater, or it may be knowledge about Krishna's beauty. You name it. It is all within the scope of Veda. That is why the word Veda means knowledge. So here Prabhupada writes that, therefore we accept Vedas as they are. So there are some people who don't accept Vedas as they are. So that is ignorance. As simple as that. Go further.
Vedas are apaurisha, which means they are not compilations of human knowledge. Vedic knowledge comes from the spiritual world, from Lord Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. In the beginning, the first living creature was Brahma. He received the Vedic knowledge from Krishna.
It's very simple. We know this thing very well. That how Tene Brahma Hridaya Adikavaye Muhyantit Suryaha. Tene Brahma. Their word Adikavi refers to Brahma, and word Brahman refers to Vedas. Many devotees they say Tene Brahma Hridaya Adikavaye, and there they refer the word Brahman to Brahma himself. So Adikavi, Brahma, he received Brahman. Brahman means here Veda in his heart by Krishna himself. So he received Vedic knowledge from Krishna. Yeah, next.
Vedas are compared to desire tree because they contain all things knowable by man. They deal with mundane necessities as well as spiritual realization.
Now, whatever I spoke is in the line. This line, you find this. They speak about mundane necessities as well as whatever is required for self-realization. Both are there. Vidya and avidya. Both are there. Next.
Above and beyond all departments of knowledge, there are specific directions for spiritual realization. Regulated knowledge involves a gradual raising of the living entities to the spiritual platform through Varna, Brahmana, intellectual, Kshatriya, ruler, Vaishya, merchant, Shudra, worker, and Ashram, Brahmacharya, student, Grihastha, family, Vanaprastha, retired, Sannyas, mendicant. The highest spiritual knowledge is knowledge that the personality of Godhead is the reservoir of all pleasures, spiritual taste.
Okay, why Prabhupada in this paragraph? This is a compilation of different places by Prabhupada writing. That is why I am using the word Prabhupada. Why he mentions the Varnashrama here? Because Varnashrama means that is where people start accepting Veda as authority. The moment we accept Veda as authority, that is where Varnashrama starts. The people who are below the Varna and Ashrama, there are 12 Varnas mentioned in Mahabharata. The last one is what is the other word? Malechas and Yavanas. The Yavanas, they are the last. Malechas and Yavanas, Prabhupada used this word. So these are the terms used in Mahabharata. Like that there are so many. The four are, as soon as somebody comes within the top four, means Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya and Shudra, he can be called either Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra only when he accepts Veda as authority. If Veda is not accepted authority, then he cannot be called a Brahmin, he cannot be called Vaishya, he cannot be called Shudra. Even to be Shudra is not an ordinary thing. It's a big thing. Because he accepts Veda as authority. He is serving the higher classes. He is serving the Vaishyas. Wow. Once I had a discussion, the very first, I still remember this particular topic. That is the first class which I heard from ISKCON devotee. That was a discussion, not actual class. It was by Bhakti Vidya Pur Maharaj, Srila Bhakti Vidya Pur Maharaj, when I was studying in Calcutta. So, then he told, these days, people, he used the word Shudras. Every day become Shudras. Then the discussion went on and told, oh no, there are people who are intelligent also. Then I told the word Shudras, that's a very dignified word which I have used. They are worse than Shudras. Then he gave the example. If somebody joins IIT, Indian Institute of Technology, it's a big college in India, the highest technical college in India. Somebody is in the first year of IIT. Somebody is second year, third year, fourth year. The fourth year is the topmost. But even the first year is a IIT. Isn't it? Even though he's in the first year, he's an IIT. So, even a Shudra is glorified just because he accepts Veda. If you go and tell a Shudra, Veda tells this, he pays obeisance. Because he accepts Veda. Those who don't accept Veda, they go to the lower Varnas. So Varnashram Dharma, Prabhupada talks about Varnashram Dharma more because naturally one enters Varnashram Dharma, it proves that he is accepting Veda as the authority. So that is why this thing is being used. That is a different topic, but we'll just go further. In between, you have any doubts, anything you can ask. It's not a, yeah.
12 Varnas you said, so is it the other ones, Kirat, Hunan, Rakuli,
Yeah. They are all Varnas. Next.
Formerly, there was only the Veda of the name Yajus. The sacrifices mentioned in the Vedas were means by which the people's occupation, according to their orders of life, namely Brahmacharya, Grahastha, Vanaprastha and Sannyas, could be purified. To simplify the process and make them more easily performable, Vyasdev, the empowered incarnation of Krishna, divided the one Veda into 4, Riga, Yajur, Sama, Atharva, in order to expand them among men.
So here Prabhupada gives us a very simplified thing of what exactly is there in Yajur Veda, what exactly is in Sam Veda, what exactly is in Atharva. So I'll give a very broad, simplified thing. Say in the Rig Veda you have prayers. And now take Sam Veda. The same prayers in the Rig Veda are sung in a different tune in the Sam Veda. Same prayers, hymns, the meters of singing. I don't like to chant those things because we'll be losing time. Now Yajur Veda, it talks about the procedure of conducting any ritual. How to perform a ritual, like how the mandala should be, what kind of kalasha should be there, what kind of things should be there, what kind of brahman should be there. The procedure. The prayers part, or the chanting, the mantras part you find in the Rig and Sama. Yajur talks about the procedures. Simple. That is what is the classification. And Atharva Veda, all the science is there in that. You name material science, anything to deal with matter. Any physics, botany, you name a classification. Everything is that. That is why it is mentioned. Body, world, maintenance and destruction. That is what you find in the Atharva Veda. Okay? Go further.
Thus the original source of knowledge is the Vedas. There are no branches of knowledge, either mundane or transcendental, which do not belong to the original text of the Vedas.
Such a powerful sentence, Prabhupada. There is no branch of knowledge, either mundane or transcendental, which do not belong to the original text of the Vedas. If you go, okay, forget about it. You go and sit in South India, you hear a Brahmin chanting Samveda, and you go to some Arab country and hear a person who is singing the Quran, you will find some similarity. How many of you observed this? Samveda and the tone in which the Muslims sing, that there is similarity. It is not exact because they cannot reach up to that level of perfection in chanting. That is the reason. But the tone is the same. You go to Africa, in any jungle, you find the tribes, the original tribes, the methodology of worship, the methodology of offering, even some mudras which they use. You will find they have got their roots in. That's such a powerful thing. There is actually nothing non-Vedic. When we say the word non-Vedic, it refers that those who don't accept Veda. It is their acceptance, their non-acceptance. But it is not that there is something, no knowledge, eating, sleeping, you name a knowledge of anything, painting. It is all based on Veda. You can find the traces. Okay. Further.
They have simply been developed into different branches. They were originally rendered by great seers.
Yeah.
In other words, the Vedic knowledge, broken into different branches by different disciplic successions, known as shakas, has been distributed all over the world. No one, therefore, can claim independent knowledge beyond the Vedas.
See Prabhupada's powerful stand. Nobody can claim independent knowledge beyond the Vedas. Somebody does a research and then I invented. Invention is bogus. There is no invention. Only one person who can really invent is Krishna. Everything is discovery only. No inventions. That is why we have, I don't know how many of you read this book. Srila Swarup Damodar Maharaj brings out this point very nicely in that book, Scientific Basis of Krishna Consciousness. He talks about inspiration there. So there, when talking about inspiration, he says, all the inventions till date, the scientists who invented, they all have confessed that I was not trying to find this. It just came out. I was trying to find something else and this was God revealed. So he used the word inspiration. In simple Sanskrit, it is prerana. In the Vedic way, it is Hriday Prakashit. It is manifested in their heart. Archimedes, we know the famous person. He completely lost hope. How I am going to find what is the difference between this metal and that metal? One day he just went to the bathroom and he just jumped into the bathtub. What happened? Where did it come from? Was it an invention? Invention means I have an intention to find out this, I am doing some research and I got it. So the word invention is totally bogus. There cannot be any invention done by any conditioned soul, any jiva. What to speak of even conditioned soul, even the liberated souls cannot do any invention. Ramanuja says this thing. Knowledge is exclusive right for Krishna. Creation, maintenance and destruction. These three things Krishna would never even give to a liberated soul. That is how Ramanuja distinguishes between the soul and the Supreme Lord. He says the Supreme Lord gives everything to the soul Sometimes people can mistake this person to be God, this Jiva to be God. But one thing you don't find him is what? The complete knowledge. That is not there. Complete knowledge can only be with Krishna. So whatever knowledge, it comes from him, so there cannot be any inventions. Further.
The texts of the Vedas are known as Samhitas. Within these Samhitas, there are portions known as mantras, which contain prayers in the form of potent sound compounds revealed to great seers of different purposes. In the Vedic civilization, 3 orders of life lived in the forest. Only Grihasthas inhabited the cities. The regulated knowledge for living in the city is revealed in the books known as
Brahmanas.
Whereas the regulated knowledge for living in the forest is revealed in the books known as Aranyaks.
So we have simple. So actually, Brahmanaka, Aranyaka, the word K is missing there. So actually there are 4 sections in the Vedas. The Brahmanakas, the Aranyakas, the Samhitas in the Upanishads. So the mantras, the prayers are found in the Samhitas, Samhita section. Like for example, we have Chandogya Samhita, Chandogya Aranyaka, Chandogya Brahmana and Chandogya Upanishad. That is one section, Chandogya. Within that you have these 4 sections. That is Samhitas, Brahmanas. Brahmanakas talk about how to live in a city. And Aranyakas, as the name comes, it talks about how to live in a forest. And Upanishads talk about how to get out of this world. Simple. 3 sections talk about how to live in this world. 1 section talks about how to get out of this world. To be very simple. So Aranyakas, Brahmanas and Samhitas, they talk about how to live in this world. And ultimately, the purpose is not how to live in this world. The purpose is to get out of this world. And that is spoken in the Upanishads. Further.
There are 3 different sources of Vedic knowledge called Prasthan Traya. The Upanishads are known as Shruti Prasthan. The scriptures following the principles of 6 limbs Vedic knowledge, Vedangas, as well as Mahabharata, Bhagavad Gita and Puranas are re-known as Smriti Prasthan.
Okay. Read it full.
And Vedanta Sutras, which present the Vedic knowledge on the basis of logic and arguments, is known as Nyaya Prasthan. All scientific knowledge of transcendence must be supported by Shruti, Smriti, and a sound logical basis, Nyaya. Smriti and Nyaya always confirm that which is said in the Shruti.
Okay. Now we're getting a little bit technical here, but we'll make it simple. You can see this chart. So, what is on top here? Prasthanatraya. Another name of Veda is Prasthanatraya. When you are sitting among the Vedic scholars, you use this word Veda, they would say you are not such a great scholar. You should use this word Prasthanatraya. There is one certificate which is given to people as Prasthanatrayadisha. Means one who, Isha means controller, here controller means he knows how to relate. There is a specific department of knowledge of relating one aspect of knowledge to other aspect of knowledge. So that's actually knowledge. Knowledge means actually to find relationships. So it's a big degree in if you go to Shankara Math in Kanchipuram, it's a big degree. And very, very few people who actually take that study. For that you need to know all the 3, you need to know everything, you need to know how to correlate, you need to know answer everything. And those people who get that degree, they are qualified to participate in avadhana. I tell you what avadhana means. There are 2 kinds of avadhana. Avadhana means discussion. One is known as ashtavadhana and the other is known as shatavadhana. Shatavadhana means 100 people will be sitting in front of you and they will be asking questions. You are supposed to answer. And then the 67th person will ask a question based on the first person. He will not mention that question. say, the first person, based on that you told this thing, so based on that I have a question like this. So that is known as Shatavadana. And Ashtavadana is more complicated than only 8 people will be there. So they are known as, the minimum qualification to sit and then do this thing is this. Prasthana Triyadisha. Of course, now it has become totally redundant. But I am talking about maybe 25, 30 years back. Something like this used to happen. But now, who is interested? Nobody is interested. Anyway, even somebody does that. That's it, because but these things used to happen till the recent past. That's the thing. So now we'll make it very simple, because Prabhupada told, simplify, simplify, simplify. These are the words of Prabhupada, isn't it? So Shruti Prasthan. What is written in the brackets? Simple. In our life, we should only know answers to 3 questions. Any place. What to do? Next is how to do. And third one is why to do. Somebody says, Prabhuji, you go and get this book. So then, what is the question which comes to mind? How to do. And then, the second question which comes to mind is what? Why to do. And ultimately, the instruction which is given, because what to do? Get the book. How to get the book. And why to get the book. Somebody gives you some prasad. What should I do? How should I do? And why I should do? Even simple things like that, till Krishna. Why Krishna? How Krishna? And what's about Krishna? There are only 3 questions. What, how, and why. If somebody is very simple, why is not required. Why is not required? The whole philosophical study, what we are doing, is just because that why comes in our mind. So this why is actually like a thorn. If somebody is very simple hearted, if you just Krishna, chant Hare Krishna, go back home, back to God, he'll just do it. Then the question why comes, that's a thorn. When the thorn is stuck in the foot, what do we do with that? For that you require another thorn. You take another thorn and remove this thorn. So, Shruti, Smriti and Nyaya. These are 3 prasthana. Shruti prasthana, Smriti prasthana. We should get the pronunciation proper. Shruti and Smriti. Shruti, Smriti and Nyaya. Because it's a little bit difficult to get the pronunciation proper. Shruti, Smriti, Nyaya. Prasthanatraya. So Shruti talks about what? What to do. And then Smriti talks about how to do. Nyaya talks about why to do. Okay, now we know in the Shrutis, Upanishads come in the Shrutis, original Veda are the Shrutis. The essence of all the Upanishads is Bhagavad Gita. In Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Antakalecha mameva sparam. That is instruction. Somebody says, Krishna, what to do? And Krishna told, Antakalecha mameva sparam. You think of me at the time of death. That is the instruction, what to do. And how to do? For how to do, Vyasa had to write the entire Puranas. That explains how to do with an example of a person who has done in the past. Like Bhishma. Acha, Bhishma was sleeping on the bed of arrows. And then he chanted Vishnu Sahasranam. And Krishna was in front of him. And in this way, thinking of Krishna, he left his body. And that attracts the mind, the conditioned soul. And immediately he knows, this is how I should do, then I will do. Krishna says, Sarvadharman Parityajya, surrender to me. That is what? Shruti. And how to do is explained? Like Prahalad surrendered. Parikshit surrendered. So many. Gajendra surrendered. You surrender. Now, the question comes, why I should surrender to Krishna? That is explained in which part of the Vedic literatures? Nyaya. So mostly in the next 7 days, what we are talking about is why. Nyaya Prasthana is going to be discussed more. So, we have some idea is there about these things. Shruti is what to do. Smriti is how to do. And Nyaya is why to do. Complete Vedic knowledge. You just see, there cannot be any scope of any other question if you know all these things. So that is how Krishna, the presentation of the Vedic literatures is so systematic that nobody can beat that systematic presentation of Vedic literatures. But sometimes we feel that when we read the thing, it's so absurd. Somebody told me after reading the Bhagavad Gita, Prabhuji, Bhagavad Gita is not very systematic. I am not systematic, that is why. It is a conversation. When it's a conversation, it should be systematic. It is not that some compilation of verses from here and there. No, it is a conversation. So the entire Vedic literature, they are presented in the most systematic way. And any other system of trying to present it, it will be unsystematic and will be futile. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Sambandha Videya Prayojana. That is what it is. Sambandha Videya Prayojana. So anything you see, you have to see it in that particular way only. Okay, go further. Yeah.
I have a question that how to correlate the 4 Vedas that you said, the Rig, Yajur, Atharva Veda, each of them, you said that, they deal with different things, like the prayers are in the Rig Veda. The Yajur Veda deals with the procedures for the yajnas.
Yeah.
The Atharva Veda deals with different types of sciences.
Yeah.
And the Samaveda is just prayers.
Prayers. Inside a different particular tune.
Now, in each of the Veda, if I understand, has Samhita, Brahmanyakas, Aranyakas, Upanishads.
Yeah.
So, does that mean, so how do we do that? Because in the Rig, it says...
See, the entire Vedic literatures, what we just mentioned, that the entire thing, Rig, Yajur, Sama, Atharva, that is coming under the category of Smriti. So, Shruti. They are Shruti. Shruti means something which is heard. Shruti means heard. And there can be no change in the Swara and Karma. In every millennium, in every creation. Like for example, Ishopanishad is what? He is a Shruti. It's where. That is why you find when you open the Ishopanishad, it is not mentioned Shloka 1, Shloka 2. What is mentioned there? Mantra 1, Mantra 2. Why? Because even in the next day of Brahma, the same thing will be there. But you have the Purana, Bhagavatam, in the next millennium, in the next day of Brahma, the knowledge will be the same, but the verses may be different. So, Shruti, they never change in the Swara and Krama. They will never change in any millennium. That is why to chant the Shruti, you need to be trained. And it should be chanted only by the higher class. The Veda clearly says the Shudras and women should not chant. Of course, they should not chant as Yajna Vinyoga. Stutya Vinyoga they can do it. Any Mataji can chant Purusha Sukta. But with the purpose of glorifying Krishna. But with the purpose of using it for a fire sacrifice, women should not do it. Shudra should not do it. You getting what I am saying? So I'll try to explain. any Vedic literature or any Vedic stuti, for example, take Purusha Sukta. There are many purposes for which you can use it. One purpose is for doing the fire sacrifice. While doing the fire sacrifice, invoking the Lord, you are chanting the Lord. And another purpose is what? Krishna is there, you sing Purusha Sukta for his glory, thinking it's the glory of Krishna. That is stuti. Viniyoga means the purpose. Not the purpose, how do you say? Viniyoga means the place where you are using. That is known as Viniyoga. If you are using in a sacrifice, there are some rules and regulations which apply. If you are using only for a glorification, I want to glorify Krishna by chanting Purusha Sukta, anybody can do it. But when it comes to the sacrifice, fire sacrifice, you should chant it perfectly after proper training, after proper purification activities. So Shrutis are like this. That's how it is designed. They never change in the swara and krama. In any time, in any place, in any circumstance. You go to Yamaloka, you go to Swarga, it will be the same Ishopanishad. But if you go to Yamaloka, you have Bhagavatam. How big is it, Bhagavatam Yamaloka? It's too huge. It has got more than 1 crore verses. In Swarga, it has got 1 lakh verses, Bhagavatam. But here you have Bhagavatam as 18,000 verses. But if you go to Swarga, the Vedic literature will be the same. The Shruti will be the same. Yeah. Any doubts in this particular area?
My question is a little different.
Yeah.
If we take the Rig Veda.
Yeah.
Okay, so in the Rig Veda you will have Samhitas, which are the mantras they use for doing the yajna. And in the Rig Veda, and that's what Prabhupada said, that the Rig Veda is prayers to be chanted.
Yes.
But in the Rig Veda there will also be Brahmanyaka, is also there.
Yeah.
And the Brahmanyaka is going to be, what is it?
What to do?
What to do.
In a city.
So it's not the prayers, it's something else.
Something else.
Okay.
Something else.
It's something else.
Yeah.
So meaning the Rig Veda is not just prayers, but it has the mantras that are chanted.
Yeah.
And
like that. Yeah.
And if you take the Yajur Veda, it says it's the procedures for the Yajna.
Yeah.
But those also have mantras in there.
Yeah. Any Vedic thing is called mantra. See, within mantra, there is a category which says, there is a mantra which says how to.
So whether it's procedure,
Yeah.
it's all mantras.
It's all mantras. Yeah. But there is a specific deity being glorified. That is also called mantra. Because anything from the Veda is known as mantra. Anything from the Veda is known as mantra. That is why in the Upanishad, that is talking about what? How to get out of this world. Even that is also mentioned as mantra. So that's it.
So the glorification of deities, that is Rig.
Yeah, Rig Veda. Mostly in the Rig Veda you will find this glorification of different deities. The first deity being glorified in the Rig Veda is what? Agni Mile Purohitam Yajnasadevam Vichudam. The first mantra is glorifying Agni. Agni is being glorified. And then the glories of Agni comes. Then the glories of Vayu comes. Of course, there is a very nice explanation given by the Gaudiya Vaishnava Acharya saying that here the Agni is actually the effulgence coming from Krishna's face. It is not just from demigod Agni. We will not go into those further aspects. This will be too much. Okay, the last.
What about Swara and Karma?
Swara and Krama is like this. Krama means after this word comes. After this line, this word. That is called Krama. Swara means the methodology by which you chant. The chanda which you use there. So, like Purusha Sukta, it should be perfectly chanted in a particular way. Of course, there are two ways, on the North Indian aspect and the South Indian aspect. Like Sahasra Sisha Purusha Sahasraksha Sahasrabat. It should go along. That is not a swara. And there is krama. Like Prabhupada, he quotes this Bhagavad Gita verse. Janma karma cha me divyam evam yo janati tattvataha. There is nothing wrong in that. In the Bhagavad Gita, what is said? Evam yo vetti. And Prabhupada, in many places I heard in his lecture, he uses the word janati. There is no difference. You can change the words in the, like in the Tattva Sandarbhas, is nicely explained by Jiva Goswami. Purusham Purnam, Purusham Puranam. Doesn't matter. Because Krishna is both Purna, it is also Purana. In some texts you find Purna, some texts you find Purana, Purna, Purana. It is the same meter, and it doesn't make much difference. So the Puranas, they have a lot of differences like this, and that is accepted. It's not a big thing. The modern Indologists, they make a big thing out of it. These are all added things, There's nothing. You say Janati or you say Veti, what does it mean? Does it make any difference? So the Swara and Krama is not such an important thing when we discuss about the Bhagavatam or about the Puranas. Because Puranas come under the category of what? Smriti. So, Smriti is something like memory. You hear this class and you take the same seminar somewhere else. You may not be using the exact words. You may be using different words to convey the same message. That is called Smriti. So, the great sages, they have heard the Shruti when a person of a particular kind of intellect, particular kind of modes or particular kind of social background, when he comes, the Rishi speaks to him the same Shruti in a different way so that he can understand. That becomes Smriti. So, we got the point. What is the difference between Shruti and Smriti? Shruti is heard. I heard. And then a person came. Now, for example, after this, a kid comes and he says, what did you learn in this class today? Then you explain the same thing. How? So that the kid can understand. That becomes Smriti. So the great sages, for the benefit, especially Vyasa, that is why he mentions these words, for the sake of Vaishyas, women and Shudras, I have compiled the Puranas. So that is why the word which is used is Smriti and Nyaya should always conform with the Shruti. So ultimately it is Shruti. Whatever is there in the Shruti, that when it is explained out of one's memory and experience, that becomes Smriti. Okay. Go further.
Vedic injunctions are known as Shruti. From the original Veda Samhitas up to the Upanishads are classified as Shruti. The additional supplementary presentations of these principles as given by the great sages are known as Smriti. They are considered as evidence for Vedic principles. Understanding the ultimate goal of life is ascertained in the Vedanta Sutras by legitimate logic and argument concerning cause and effect.
Okay. So this section we'll talk later because any Vedanta Sutras are going to come. So now we finish the first chapter. I given small few questions. That is only for when you take the course. You can also answer them. That will be nice. Now there is a chart depicting these things. There is Krishna, Narayana, and gives Brahma. Brahma, from the knowledge of Brahma, you have Vedas, the Rig, Yajur, Sama and Atharva, and there are 4 sections, Samhitas, Mantras, and Brahmana Aranyakas. Mantras means your Upanishads. And there is a list of number of shakas and they are given here. And ultimately what is left over here, it is given here. So that paper I will give to later because it has to be xeroxed. At present, we have only 11 Samhitas, 18 Brahmanakas, 7 Aranyakas and 220 Upanishads. That's all. Originally, we have how many? 1,130 Upanishads. 1,130 Aranyakas, 1,120 Brahmanas and similar. So, Rig Veda, I've got 21. Ajur Veda, I have 100. Sam Veda, I've got 1000. Nathara Veda has got 9. So, that is how the division is there. At present, approximately 6% are left. So, this is just a very, some information, that's all. Go to the next chapter, second chapter. Vedangas. These Vedangas form the part of Smriti. There are 6 Vedangas. If somebody wants to do anything Vedic, they have to first learn these 6 things, then only they can do. Without learning these 6 things, nobody can do anything Vedic. According to the Vedic education, when we talk about Gurukul means sending children to learn these 6 things. So according to Vedic system, there is no junior KG, nursery, kindergarten, that first standard, second standard. Anytime you join, first learn this. So, first Vedangas has to be learnt. And we say, Prabhuji, I have not learnt it. Prabhupada made us learn all these things. Let us see how he has done. Siksha, Vyakarna, Nirukti, Chanda. And Jyotish Kalpa. 6 things should be in fingertips. Siksha, Vyakarna, Nirukti, Chanda. And Jyotish and Kalpa Sutras. So, I'll just give a brief introduction to all these things. Siksha means what? Learn. That is what it is. A, B, C, D, what we learn in a school, in any language, Siksha. That is known as phonetic science. Prabhupada writes, a man is known by his speech, isn't it? So the first thing a child should learn is how to speak. One should know how to pronounce A, B. If he is learning English language, well and good. But the most sophisticated is Sanskrit. So, he should learn. That is known as Siksha. So, once we have learnt the alphabets. Yeah. Once we learn the alphabets, then you have to combine the alphabets. What is combining alphabets? There are some rules governing combination of alphabets. What is that rules called? Vyakarana, grammar. The second thing which we have to learn is what? Vyakarana. What is the third thing? When you combine few alphabets, it becomes a word. Then you should know what is the meaning of the word. What is it called? Where is it? Where the meanings of the word mentioned? Dictionary, isn't it? We should know the dictionary. So the Vedic dictionary is called Nirukti. The third one is Nirukti. And there is a difference between just a plain understanding of dictionary and Nirukti. Nirukti means Niranayatmaka Ukti. Contextual meaning. Prabhupada gives has a glimpse of everything. In the 6th chapter you find, Prabhupada writes, here word Atma means mind. Sometimes Atma may mean body, sometimes it means soul, it sometimes means mind. Isn't it? So Prabhupada has already given some hint of what actually Vedic dictionary means. Contextual meaning. I'm going to use this example further also when we talk about Nyaya. Srila Bhaktivedanta Thakur is Simha Guru. What does it mean? Nyaya, it goes into a very elaborate thing of explaining what exactly this contextual meaning means. Everything for them is meaning. Oh, Bhaktivedanta Thakur is Simha Guru. So he is the Guru of all the lions. Okay, he's a Simha Guru. Now I understand. He's got a beard like a lion. And so, contextual meaning is what? When he speaks, it is like the roar of a lion. Like as soon as the lion roars, all the animals run away from the forest. When he speaks, all the anarthas in my heart run away. So that is called the contextual meaning. So this is where Nyaya starts. The Nyaya they are so expert in, if somebody goes here and there in understanding the contextual meaning, they do it. There are many systems. Gautama designed so many systems to balance and then check and balance whether the meaning is proper or not. Because the entire thing for the Nyaya system is Padartha. Padartha means what? There is a word and there is artha for it. So you have to know what is the meaning of it. Until unless you know what is the meaning of it properly, how can you understand anything? So that we'll talk tomorrow. But this is Nirukti. It is not just dictionary. It is something a step beyond dictionary. It is known as Nirukti. So now just see a small boy. He is just now drinking the milk from his mother. And now he starts learning. Mama, he calls. And then he starts knowing that there are different words. And I should know the meaning of the words. Once he knows the meaning of the words, many words put together, what they become? A sentence or a verse. Then you should know how to chant that particular sentence or particular words. And the science of how to chant is known as Chanda. In Bhagavatam, Bhrati Chanda. Yeah, Bhagavad Gita, Anushtup Chanda. Like that there is Sardhula Vikriditam. There are so many chandas are there. It's a big science. Okay. Now next, till now we'll discuss how just by sitting in Bhagavatam class you are doing all the three things. Nowhere, no Acharya has done this kind of Bhagavatam class. Read. First, open the Bhagavatam. What do you chant? Every word. Isn't it? What is it? It is Siksha. And then what we do? We try to combine the words. That is grammar. When you combine the words, you chant. You read word to word meaning, isn't it? Word to word reading. What is Nirukti? And then you have Chanda. Everybody chants. That is there. So just by sitting in Bhagavatam class, you are following all these things very naturally. Isn't it? Otherwise you cannot do anything Vedic. Just don't know how to speak, how to read. Why? What is the use of human life? Human life means you should know how to read and write and then speak. No requirement of mathematics, physics, chemistry, all these things are not required at all. Education means to, even in Hindi we say, ye pada likha hai. Isn't it? If you want to say somebody educated person, in Hindi we normally say pada likha hai, means he can know how to read and write. And he knows to speak. If you know these three things, you can do anything in this world. You can be engineer, you can be a doctor, you can be anything. First thing you should know how to read and write. And the whole point is, people are becoming engineers and doctors, but they don't know how to read and write. It is true. They don't know how to speak. You go to the colleges now, they cannot frame a sentence properly. I know, I teach children a lot. But even the children studying in the bigger, highest of the schools, they cannot properly frame a particular one sentence. In every 2 words there is a slang. Ask them to write one letter, they cannot draft a letter properly. And recently I took a children's program, then I told how many of you are taught about letter writing in your school? The teachers don't teach that now. Because it is all emails, it's all just electronics, there's no real thing. So even English grammar they don't know. Such a horrible state. So where pada likha? There is no pada likha now these days. They are big degrees. They don't know how to read and write and speak. So now chandas. Chanda means to chant. And then there is Jyotish. You may say Jyotish means not just showing our hand everywhere. Jyotish means time science. How it got translated, Jyotish means astrology. Astrology is just 2% of Jyotish. And among the Jyotish, those who are the lowest class, they do astrology. The lowest class of Jyotish, they do astrology. Here in my childhood, we used to go to a Jyotish not to see what's my future tell. We used to go to Jyotish to find out how this year will be, what seed has to be laid, when the rain is going to come, and what are the precautions to be taken, what time, what to do. That is known as Jyotish. And when you used to approach Jyotish, we never used to address the Jyotish as Jyotish. We used to address him as Daivagnya. Daivagnya means one who knows something which a human being cannot know. Karmana daivanetrena. So we cannot know. So one who knows that, he becomes a Daiva. He becomes a demigod practically. So we used to address him as Daivagnya, one who knows this thing. So on the day of Makar Sankranti, I still remember today, even till today I remember, all the village used to come, and then this person used to speak. After February 28th, only you can lay the seed. This year, make sure you only grow this thing. He would not tell, say, Rahu is coming, Ketu is coming, be aware of them, wear this ring. This is actually, he is known as Daivagnya, Jyotish. Jyotish means time signs. Jyoti means light, isn't it? Who gives light to us? The sun, isn't it? And who is the controller of time? Krishna is ultimately controller of everything. I'm talking about time. Time department is controlled by sun. Yasya agnya brahmati samrata kala chakra. So the Jyotish, Jyoti is from sun. Sun is referred to the control of time. So it is time science. You getting the connection? So we should get this thing, this ghost out of us. Yeah, Jyotish means, okay, now he's going to tell what is going to happen to me. Many years back somebody came to me. Actually in India, those who are generally from UP and Bihar, they see some sadhu, they think, he knows my future. They would come and pay obeisances. Bahut dukhi hai, kya karo bataiye Prabhuji. It's true. Then I told him, some danger is going to come. He told, what? I can see you are dying. Death is coming. That is the only thing which is sure. So Jyotish doesn't mean here astrology. Astrology is only some 2% of it. When there is Vishesh Kriya, means somebody getting married, then whether the boy or the girl is suitable for me or not. And somebody wants to open something very important thing, they would consult. Is it pivoting for me or not? That is called Jyotish. That is just, he will give a advice. Now, Prabhupada, how he has mentioned Jyotish in our temple, time signs, 4:30 Mangalarti, 7:15 Darshanarti. In between you sit and chant. Bhagavatam class 8 o'clock. Evening 7 o'clock Gaura Arti, 7:30 Bhagavata class, 9 o'clock go to sleep. What is this? Is it not Jyotish? It is time science. It is time science. What all Prabhupada has done cannot be counted anything beyond this thing, because he is a true representative of a Vedic person in this modern era. He has done everything, but spontaneously, we don't know. So if somebody comes and says, somebody from a Vedic person says, what are you doing? You don't know Vedangas. We know the Vedangas, provided we follow the routine. That's all. Simple. We just have to follow the routine. All the Vedangas are naturally there. But we should know how great thing which we got unknowingly. Otherwise, just imagine, we don't have the opportunity. as soon as we went to Gurukul, some teacher is teaching us. They did not have. But Prabhupada has done this thing spontaneously, going further. Because I am talking this thing because once I took a seminar on this, when person called Prabhuji, we are at a great loss, what to do, we should get all these things, I told you. Then I thought I did a mistake. I should have mentioned that how, just by following the program what Prabhupada has given, Siksha, Vyakarna, Nirukti, Chanda, everything is there. Just by doing this thing. And then Kalpa. Kalpa means rituals. What is the ritual? Ritual means how to sit. How many of you heard the day where Prabhupada told, sit properly? It's a ritual. The particular way to sit. And a particular way to sit and eat prasad. Particular way to sit and read. Particular way to sit and do. Particular way to walk. But that is called ritual. And particular way to take charanamrit. And particular way to offer flowers. Isn't it? That's ritual. So without Vedanga, nothing can happen Vedic. So spontaneously we are following the Vedangas. Because by following the program, as simple as that. So I will not go to the reading of these things. I just explained whatever is there within this. Any questions regarding these 6 things? We know what the Vedangas are. Very clear. There is a nice flow. Siksha. And there is Vyakarna, Nirukti, Chanda, Jyotish and Kalpa. ABCD, words and the meanings and proper speech, when to do these things. Ultimately, what is the conduct? We may be speaking Veda, we may be speaking nice Chanda. The conduct is not proper. Then who will? The conduct is Kalpa. Ritual means actually conduct. In some of the lectures we find people criticize ritual so much. Because they don't know ritual is not just something like this. Ritual means actually conduct. Yes?
And that means proper behavior.
Yes. Everything, proper behavior. How we walk, that's a ritual. How we take charanamrit, that's actually ritual. If we just take one in one hand and then put something everywhere, charanamrit is falling. Oh, is that not good? You drink with both hands. When you offer flowers, there is a particular way to do that. So we should learn it. Somebody may say, oh, this is all ritual, Prabhu. No, the effort in trying to learn and do the ritual, that is also devotion. Isn't it? Of course, we are not ritualistic. Just following the ritual for the sake of following ritual. But ritual keeps us in mode of goodness. That is why we need to learn and do those rituals, keeping the purpose very clear in our mind. Because that conduct keeps us in mode of goodness. So, Vedangas are over. Now we'll go to the next point. That is, another aspect of Vedangas are Agamas. Let us see what these Agamas are. There are 5 Agamas. We know these words in the Bhagavatam. Nigama kalpataror galitam phalam. What is opposite to Nigama? Agama. Nigama, Agama. Keep this in mind. Where else you have heard this word Nigam? Nectar of instruction. Bhagavatam. Where else? Vijay Sanchar Nigam. VSNL. What is the meaning of Nigam? Nihita Rupena Gamayati. Ni Gama. Gama means to go, actually to come. From where everything comes from. All the knowledge comes from. Where all communication comes from. That is why they name it as Nigam. All the communication. Sanchar ka Nigam hai. So where all the knowledge is coming from the original Veda. So Nigamas are known as original Vedic literature. That is the Shruti Prasthan is known as Nigam or Nigama. The Shruti Prasthan is known as Nigam. And what is the meaning of Agama? The thing which has come out of the nigama is known as agama. Puri comes out of atta. Atta is what? Nigam. Puri is agama. You know the point? Something which came out of Veda is known as agama. Something which came out of nigama is known as agama. So these agamas, they are actually smriti. So the Bhagavatam classes which devotees give, that is actually all known as agama. They are all coming from smriti. So any explanation in the Veda, it's all agama. So these are the 5 agamas. Let's see what they are. Krishna, when he manifested this world, created this world, he made it 5 levels. The energy, the visible source, the controller, the destroyer, and ultimate source Vishnu. When you go and ask somebody about God, they say, yeah, something is there, some energy is there, some power is there. People talk about it, isn't it? That is the first realization of God. First realization of God for a people. That is what? Some energy is there. Some energy is there. Some power is there. People talk about it. So that is the minimum, that is the first level of God realization in one sense. So that is why the personification of energy, Durga, is recognized first. She is glorified in the Shakta Agamas, who are worshipped mostly in Bengal. Shakta Pradesha. Madhvacharya went there, he thought, what is this going on? Oh Lord, you are so merciful, but the most killing is happening here. And I'll talk about that later. The point is, he was completely moved. Oh Lord, Chaitanya, you are the most compassionate, but the most of the killing is happening here. Shakta Pradesha. This is Bengal. So they see power. So there are many books glorifying Durga, talking about how to worship Durga. Everything is mentioned in the Shaktagamas. The original Shakti Pitas, 64 Shakti Pitas, where the body of Durga, of Uma, fell when Lord Shiva carried in separation from her after Daksha. She gave up her body. They are known as Shakti Pitas. Only there you find these agamas are perfectly followed. And there are so many different procedures. They're big. And they have their own philosophy also. Everything so much. So when you say Durga worship, doesn't mean some lady, somewhere, some pious lady, she keeps a Durga thing and then I worship Durga, I chant so anything come to mind. No. Anything coming onto their mind and chanting Durga is something, it is not called Durga worship. Durga worship is somebody has to do, they have to follow the Shakta Agamas. So I will not talk much about it because it's a huge thing, Shaktas. And now people say, what is this? I find, though there is so much of energy and all coming, but nothing grows if the sun is not there. We find that sun is a source of that energy. That is the next step of perceiving something, some higher power. So they are known as the Shaura Agamas, the sun worshippers. This you find in the western part. Saurashtra, from there all the way till Egypt. There are places who are worshippers of sun. The Parsis, they have sun temple. They practice. If you go to a typical Parsis, what is their temple called? There's something, I don't know, I forgot the name. Synagogue? It's called a synagogue, I suppose. But it's a Jewish synagogue. Generally, they are the people who worship the sun. And then you have, and then they say the sun is moving. Who is making the sun move? Oh, there must be somebody who moves even the sun. Then they are Ganapatyas, worshippers of Ganapati. They are a little bit higher. So, according to the worshippers of Ganapatya, they worship Ganapati as Vishnu only. Because the present Ganapati, he is having 4 hands. The present Ganapati, not the previous Ganapati. The present Ganapati. He is a liberated soul. So, he is not an ordinary person. So, they find, he is actually Vishnu. In that way, they start worshipping him. So, when they come to the level of Ganapati, they perceive that there is somebody having 4 hands and Shankar Chakra Gada Padma. If somebody wants to worship Ganapati, Rashtra Ganapatis, especially if you find in Maharashtra, not everybody who puts a pandal and then do worship Ganapati is Ganapati worshipper. One has to worship according to the Ganapati Agamas. And after that, they find, even though Ganapati, everything in this world is being destroyed. Who is the destroyer? Then people worship Shiva. One who can destroy, he is the most powerful person. So let me worship Lord Shiva. He is worshipped according to the Shaiva Agamas. And Shaiva Agamas, they are propounded by many great sages, but very nicely presented by the 64 Mayamnars. If you go to south, you will find their deities. Lot of them. Every temple you go, there are 64 deities of their acharyas, of Shaivism. Preachers of Shaivism. Mayamnars. Mayamnara. Like in Sri Vaishnavas, there are 12 Alvars, we have 6 Goswamis. For them, there are 64 Mayamnars. Very powerful preachers of Shaivism. Shaiva Agamas, they established. And now, ultimately, they see, Shiva can only destroy, but who created? Because creation is not a joke. And not only creation, who is maintaining it? If I give you a toy, what is the easiest thing to do? What is the easiest thing to do? Destroy. So now, there is somebody who is maintaining it. There is somebody who is, he's actually created it also. So then they see Vishnu. And Vishnu is worshipped according to which Agamas? Vaikhanasa Agamas. Vaikhanasa. So there are 5 Agamas which talks about the philosophy and also the detailed and methodology of worship of these 5 deities. I'll give you a small hint here. Sripad Shankaracharya is called a Mayavadi because he says, pick up any of them and worship. Instead of seeing the gradation, you are seeing what? Anything you take. It is like, instead of having a chapati or a puri or something like that, eat atta. Anyhow, it is chapati only. It came from atta only, to eat atta. It doesn't work. So there is only one aspect of it that we'll talk at the end. But coming to this point here, we have, if you are seeing some Ganapati worshipper, he says, I am worshipping Ganesh. I used to ask this question many times. Oh, you are worshipping Ganesh? How are you worshipping? I worship take some flowers and do something. Are you worshipping according to the Ganapati Agamas? He told, what is this Ganapati Agamas? And already surrendered. Many times we can actually use these words. We should know there are 5 levels of. These are all created by Krishna only. These 5 coverings. Talking about coverings today evening. That is about coverings in our body. But the cosmic covering is this only. When somebody wants to see Krishna who is in the altar, if there are 5 curtains, the first thing, as soon as a person who comes to the temple, he sees the curtain itself. In ISKCON, curtains itself are so beautiful. They think it is only God. It happened. Once I took my a distant uncle to Jew temple. And he saw the door itself and fell flat. He paid obeisances. And he told, what a nice, wonderful deity you have. He saw the small things in that. Then he told, a door, it's a door. No, it's a deity. Maya Javanika Channam. Kunti Rani says. So, it's called everything is a deity for people because they're not seen such temples. For them, temple means it should be dirty. So, if there's a covering, imagine just there are 5 wonderful coverings in front of Shyam Sundar. So, just see the covering itself, the thing. Durga is there. Wonderful, let me worship. She's not an ordinary person. Krishna, she's a Mama Maya. Krishna's own energy is Krishna's curtain. Do you think Krishna's curtain will not be very wonderful? So if somebody is worshipping Durga, see, you should not hate them. Why hate? They're worshipping Krishna's one curtain. If you remove that, then another curtain. So ultimately they end up here. As simple as that. So demigod worshippers are actually not our enemies. One thing is for sure. Anyhow they are worshipping. You just have to remove the curtain, that's all. Very intelligently. And they'll find Krishna and they'll worship it. So these 5 are done. And this is the last paragraph. Okay, next paragraph. Last but one paragraph. From the point of view of the common man. Durga is the first. She is the first person, first visible energy seen. So Durga worship actually is a self-realization. Searching out God starts with the understanding that this matter is controlling me. The scientists are trained to control matter, isn't it? Who is matter personified? Durga. So you find actually I am not controlling matter. Matter is controlling me. Who is the personification of matter? Durga. So that is why they worship Durga. They are materialistic, no doubt. But materialistic people who go to Durga, they at least understand matter is controlling me. I am not the controller of matter. Modern scientists, what they are thinking? I am the controller of matter. So those worshippers of Durga, at least they have this realization that it is not me who is controlling matter, it is Durga who is controlling matter. Are they wrong? They are not wrong, but they are not completely right. So there is a lot of difference being completely right and completely wrong. There is so much in between. In psychology, it's a disease to see black and white. There's so much in between. There are many people who are right but not completely right. If somebody says God is not having form, are they wrong?
God has
No form. Are they wrong?
material form. You can go
So they are not wrong. They are not completely right. So, Nyaya is, they use these words a lot. Says there's a lot of difference being you term him as wrong and say him you are not completely right. So, if you just say you are wrong, they'll bring many verses and throw on your head. There'll be a fight. Chaitanya and Sarmadachari was speaking, or Prakasha was speaking. He never told that you are wrong. What he told? There is something higher than this. There is something higher than this. If you tell a Durga worship, you should not worship Durga. Where in Veda it is mentioned that you should not worship Durga? Tell. So they will bring all this. You should say, there is a higher deity. See, Durga, she is serving Krishna. Is it so? So let me also serve Krishna. We will not talk about that whole section. It's a different section altogether. Because this thing came and talked about it. So from the point of view of the common human activity, sense gratification is the basis of material life. To cater to the aim, there are 3 paths mentioned in the Vedas. Karma Kanda, fruitive activities to gain promotion to better planets using methodology of the first 5 Vedangas, and Kalpa Sutras explain this path. And Upasana Kanda involves worshipping different controllers of promotion of health planets. Agama explain this. Jnana Kanda involves absolute truth in the infinite feature purpose of becoming one with the Lord. So you heard about this thing in Prabhupada's books a lot. Karma Kanda, Upasana Kanda, Jnana Kanda. This is another way of dividing the Veda. Don't get confused. Like in our room, one division is Matajis and Prabhujis. Other is initiated, non-initiated. Other division, Brahmin initiated, initiated, non-initiated. Same group. But it is a different way of categorization. So Prabhuji, you told Vedas are divided into 4, now you are telling 3. And it is the same thing. But it is a different way of classification. That's all. So we should never get confused with these things. Even I took it, sometimes it is 4 Vedas, sometimes it is 3. What it is? It is a different way of categorization. That's all. So one way of categorizing the Vedas is Jnana Kanda, Karma Kanda, Jnana Kanda and Upasana Kanda. Now let us see what is Karma Kanda. By doing some rituals involving some karma and all, going to heavenly planets and enjoy. Upasana Kanda is, I will not do rituals, I will just glorify a demigod. I will just glorify and go to heavenly planets and enjoy. And Jnana Kanda involves the impersonal aspect of the Upanishads. That is the Jnana Kanda. The impersonal aspect of the Upanishads. That is also one kind of sense gratification. That we will discuss today evening more elaborately. So, though these paths are from Veda and the Vedas do explain them, one should not think that it is all the Vedas have. The real purpose of the Vedas is to gradually push one to the path of self-realization, to the point of surrender and devotion, service to the Supreme Personality of God Krishna. Okay. Now I have given a chart. Tomorrow evening I will give the chart if we can get it there. That is, the Smriti has got 2 sections, Vedangas and Agamas. Here. Actually there are one more section which is coming up. The list is given here. That we will get. You go to the next chapter. Upanishads, Darshanas, Vedanta and 6 systems of philosophy. Okay. Now we have the Upanishads. Can you read? Upanishad means what?
Upanishad means receiving knowledge while sitting near the teacher. These are conversations between self-realized soul and the students on the subject matter of absolute truth.
Simple. Upanishads are like this. Upanishad. There are many ways of trying to interpret this word. Shat means to sit. Ni means near. Near whom? Upadhyaya. Upa refers to Upadhyaya. Ni refers to Nikata. Nikata means near. Shat means to sit. So I sit near a teacher and hear from him. I have a question, I inquire, and the teacher gives the knowledge. And how the teacher gives the knowledge, that we'll discuss today evening. It's not just the teacher, as the student asks question, and the teacher gives knowledge. It's a lot of things involved in this. So that's Upanishad. Now Veda means knowledge and Anta means end. So Upanishads are known as Vedanta, the end of knowledge. Go further, in the Upanishads the descriptions are more or less negation of material conception of everything. More or less the word is used because in the Upanishads you find mostly the word Brahman used. The word Brahman. The Brahman word is mostly found in the Upanishads. In the Chaitanya Charitamrita it is explained, Yad Brahmopanishadi Tadapyasya Tanubha. What is explained as Brahman in the Upanishads is nothing but the effulgence of the Supreme Lord. It is very important to note that there is no denial of the spiritual absolute truth. I give the example like this regarding this form and not having form. Upanishads talk about the Lord having no form. Naiti, except a few places. Apani Pado, Prabhupada gives the example. Apani Pado. Upanishads gives this example. Gives his quotes to us. Okay. There are two ways you describe a person. One way is to describe what you are not. Other way is to describe what you are. That is complete knowledge. So if I try to describe, Prabhuji, what is your name? Kamalakant. Kamalakant is one who doesn't wear specs. Is it wrong knowledge about him? Kamalakant is one who doesn't have a white dress. Kamalakant is one who doesn't have hair. So when Krishna is described in this way, that is Upanishad. Got the point? When Krishna is described in the sense who Krishna is not, that is also knowledge about Krishna. He just took the word Kamalakant. Kamalakant is not having white dress. Is it a wrong knowledge about him? It is right knowledge, but negative knowledge about him. That means the knowledge which describes who he is not. The knowledge which describes who he is not. The negative knowledge about Krishna. In the same way, the negative knowledge about Krishna is described. Apani Pado, one who doesn't have hands, one who doesn't have legs. Hey, Krishna's got hands and legs. No, somebody may ask a question, why Upanishads talk about it? Two reasons. I'm going to talk exclusively in Vedanta, but I'm just giving a brief. Two reasons. One reason is, Veda should give complete knowledge of the absolute truth. Complete knowledge means both negative knowledge and positive knowledge. Complete knowledge means both negative knowledge and positive knowledge. So, complete knowledge involves the knowledge of who he is and knowledge of who he is not. That is how the Vedic literatures are presented in such a perfectly legal fashion. The legal documents, how it is? How many of you read any legal document? Any legal document? Why are you using all these words? Fine. But that is how you just keep that. Nobody should have any misunderstanding. That is why you find in the Upanishad, in the Isha Upanishad, very famous. We all know there is a verse which says that. What is that verse? What is that mantra? Yat kinchit jagatyam jagat. Isha vashamidam sarvam. What does it mean? Everything in this world belongs to Krishna. What is the next line says? Yat kinchit jagatyam jagat. Not even a single thing which doesn't belong to him. One word is enough, one line. What is one line? Everything belongs to him. Why use other word, line? To make it very clear and strong. No more arguments. Otherwise there will be a scope. Something must be there. No, nothing is there. Everything belongs to him. Like in the Veda, we have the famous verse in the Puranas. Smartavyo satam Vishnu. And always think of Krishna. Is there any way different from never forget him? Both are actually same. Of course, there is a difference that I will not talk now. But it actually means the same. Always remember Krishna, that actually includes never forget him. But the Veda talks like this. So the same way, Upanishads, this is one reason. Complete knowledge means both positive knowledge and This is the first reason. Second reason is, if Upanishads would have not spoken, the Lord doesn't have hands and legs, and only the descriptions of how Krishna has got Komalangam, how Kandarpa Koti Kamaniya Vishesha Shobham, he's got eyes, so beautiful like lotuses. Acha, Krishna has got beautiful eyes like lotus. And Krishna's eyes are more beautiful than my eyes. If somebody says Krishna's eyes are more beautiful than my eyes, is it a proper statement? Yes, Mataji.
You cannot compare.
Yes. It is true, the statement is true, but should not be spoken. There is a big philosophical flaw. See, we use so much of nyaya in this. Oh Krishna, you are more beautiful than me. Nonsense. What statement is this? Am I the measuring, what is it called? This is a scale. Am I the pramana for this? For Krishna? Krishna is the pramana himself. And you make yourself pramana. It is like saying see, she is Miss Universe. She is most beautiful person in the universe. She is that, she is that. You see, buffalo is nothing in front of her. So, not to get into these kind of fallacies, the Upanishads, they first put the fencing. Before explaining Krishna, Krishna's explanation, description, tadvag, visargaha, it should never be contaminated by any misconceptions. The Upanishads put the fencing. Second reason why the Upanishads talk about it. So, we should not, Upanishads, Prabhu, we don't discuss, it's all, someone told, Upanishads is for Mayavadis. In one class I heard, I was like shocked. What is this is telling? Of course, we don't take it as a real textbook for us. That is true. But saying Upanishads is for Mayavadis and we should not read it, it's totally bizarre. Krishna has made it as a fencing so that he will be protected. His descriptions are protected. Bhagavatam is the main book. That is why it is explained based on you should never, Shruti, Shastra, Nindanam. It is an offense. Because they are all serving Krishna in the personified Vedas. Their prayers, just read those prayers. Oh, what prayers they are. They contain everything. Everything not knowable, everything knowable, everything is there. They are all worshipping Krishna. So Shruti, Shastra, and should never be done. Many times it so happens. So that should not be done. Okay. There are 108 important Upanishads, out of which 11 are most important. Actually, there are 1,130 and available are 220. So 1,130, 220, 108 and 11. And among the 11, one most important. What is that? Isha. And the essence of all Upanishads? Bhagavad Gita. Okay, next is darshana means sight. In the Vedanta philosophy, the first question is, what is the source of everything? There are philosophers who saw different sages. Now we enter into the 6 systems of philosophy because this covers everything. The 6 systems of philosophy, basis, a kind of trailer is given here. Okay, now Upanishads are there. So when the different sages, they read the Upanishads with one question in mind. What is that question? Janmadi yasyatah. That was the questions which the sages put forward to the Upanishads. When these sages put forward this question to the Upanishads, they received 6 answers. And these 6 answers are known as Shad Darshan. As simple as that. We'll talk more about it in the evening. Just for the sake of going through, the Nyaya Vaishishika Sankhya Yoga Purvamamsa Tarvimamsa, Nyaya Vai Gautama Vaishishika Vai Kannada, Sankhya Vai Kapila, Yoga Vai Patanjali, And Purva Mimamsa by Gemini and Uttara Mimamsa by Vyasa means all the 6 sages, they read the Upanishads with one question in mind. What is the source of everything? And they got 6 different answers. So these 67 answers are, Nyaya says, when Gautama studied the Upanishads with this question, he got an answer. Atoms are the source of everything. When Kanada, he saw the same thing, Upanishads with the same question, he got combination of atoms is everything. When Patanjali read these Upanishads, he got an answer that, okay, no, universal consciousness is everything. And Sankhya, when Kapila read it, he told, no, material nature is everything. And karma is everything. Gemini got this answer. And Vyasa, he understood that it is Brahman, who ultimately is Krishna, is the source of everything. So I will not talk about it much now, because that is a subject matter for the entire course. So now, darshanas, or Vedanta darshanas, or Shad darshan, is nothing but, we should know the sutra, Upanishads are there, a sage came, he asked the question to the Upanishads. What is that question? Where everything comes from. That was the question he asked the Upanishads. And what answer he got? That he mentioned in his philosophy, and wrote a big philosophy out of it. Okay? So there is a chart also here. And these Upanishads, these 6 sages, what happened is with them, when they wrote the philosophy in sutras, nobody could understand them. So it requires a commentator. It requires somebody to go and give a commentary on that. And that commentaries, they are known as bhashyas. Like Nyaya. Many people who gave commentaries on Nyaya Sutras. Many people who gave commentaries on Vaishya. And many people who gave commentary on Vedanta Sutras also. Many people gave commentaries on Vedanta Sutra. And we know that Shankaracharya is there, our opponent. And others, Ramanuja, Madhva, Nimbaraka, and ultimately we have Baladev Vidyabhushan. Ultimately, Vyasa, after writing the Vedanta Sutra, he said, I will only write a commentary. That is Bhagavatam. That we'll talk about later. That's going to come in due course of time. So Vedanta Sutras and Bhashyas, we know this thing very well, that we just don't mention it. I'll talk about it later. I'll just skip this chapter altogether. Now comes Puranas and Itihasas. This is also one of the part of Smriti, Puranas and Itihasas and Kavyas. There are many people who don't accept the Puranas to be part of Veda. So let us take a verse from the Veda and then prove. The Veda itself is accepting that Puranas are part of Veda. The Chandogya Upanishad is mentioned, Puranas, and I'll give the number and the verse later. I don't have it here at present. I'll take a printout and give that verse. It's a very powerful verse if you're talking to some scholars, especially from Arya Samaj. Arya Samajis, they don't accept Puranas, and not like that. There are many people who don't accept that. They just say original Veda, you do sacrifice, that's all. So if you really are coming across those people, you take this verse and say, your Veda is only telling accept Puranas. Because you cannot just quote Bhagavatam for them, because anyhow they don't accept Bhagavatam. So you should quote a verse from the book which they accept. And show, see, Bhagavatam is accepted within your Upanishads itself. Now, second line. Vyasa, he wrote Puranas and Itihasas and Kavyas. What is reason for it? Reason is, as you all know, if somebody has a question, how to do? That question is Smriti, isn't it? How to do? How to do has to be explained in an elaborate way. So, Puranas and Itihasas and Kavyas are written exclusively for this purpose of how to do. Surrender to Krishna. How to do? Puranas talk about it. Not only just how to do, with an example of a person who has done in the past. Bhishma did it, through all this, Prahlad did this. In this way you should do. By writing this, Vyasa, on the pretext of addressing whom? The Vaishyas, the Shudras and women, he has mentioned something in the Puranas which is not there even in the Shrutis. Or even though it is there, it is very hidden. That we'll talk about it later, but ultimately we should know that these Puranas are exclusively meant for knowing how to do. This number one point. The second purpose of writing these Puranas is the conditioned soul is interested in matter. Is interested in singing, in dance, in politics, and some stories of household stories. In India, it's very famous for the women. It's discussed about household stories. It's the thing for them. As soon as the husband goes to their office, they all get together and talk gossip. In that house it's happened, this house it's happened. Then Vyasa told, that is the condition. Take a story of a house, Kuruvamsha. Discuss. How long you want to discuss about. Because anyhow the mind is engrossed in that. So then they'll talk about. And they're talking about, they're interested in, that person kidnapped their daughter. You want to hear about the story? Take Ramayana. You want to hear a love story? Here, Rukmini story. Because naturally the mind is engrossed in all these things. So Vyasa, he made this to capture the emotions of the people, which is now engrossed in matter. And they get a similar thing on the transcendental platform. So just see how intelligent is Vyasa in writing the Puranas. That is the technology used in the Puranas. And even that is not necessary, it is not sufficient. Then Vyasa told, I'll write Itihasa. Then he told, I'll write Upapuranas. Then I'll write Upakhyanas. More and more. Now let us see, Vyasa wrote 18 Puranas. He wrote 18 Puranas. Say for example, in one place the Purana comes, a story comes. Indra came to the sacrifices, Ashwamedha Yajna of Rajasuya Yajna Yudhishthira. Yudhishthira is performing Rajasuya Yajna. Big Yajna is happening, big Pandal program. One somebody told, Prabhuji, what is this Rajasuya Yajna? I told a big Pandal program. Because we understand only in those terms. Because we just don't have any idea of what Rajasuya Yajna is. Then he told, Prabhuji, big Pandal program, how big? I told a Pandal program which is more bigger than Bombay. A Pandal which is more bigger than Bombay. Is it so? That is Upakhyana. That is Upapurana Upakhyana. Vyasa goes into the details of describing how the Pandal was built, what kind of flowers were used, and what kind of saris, what kind of dresses people were wearing when Indra came. And they saw Krishna taking care of the chapels. Everybody paid obeisances. Then they think, Krishna is so great or what? People wearing such saris, they are paying obeisances to Krishna. And that Krishna is taking care of chapels. Just see how Vyasa captivated the emotions. So that is a technique used by Vyasa. To completely engross the mind, the conditioned soul's mind, it is engrossed in matter. Matter means what? Saris and pandals, flowers and music and dance, the greatness, the opulence, the beauty. Isn't it? And in this way, even though in the Purana you find Indra being glorified to three chapters, in the Upapuranas, in another Upapurana, Indra is glorified for 3 chapters. And ultimately in the 4th chapter you find he paying obeisances to Krishna. So, that is why Madhvacharya says, Adyecha, Madhyecha, Antyecha, Sarvatra Harer Giyate. In the beginning, middle and end, it is glory of Hari only. So, in some place you find, Indra is being glorified, Prabhuji, I don't want to read this. Prabhu, you read further, you understand. This glorified Indra, what is he doing? He is paying obeisances to Krishna. And that Krishna is taking as the chappals of those who are the guests of the Pandavas. What more the glory can be there of the Pandavas? And that is why if you take a Purana class, you have thousands of people. If you take a Vedanta class, you will have only few. Only few. So, it is not that Puranas are something less important, actually they are more important. Vedanta study is for fencing. Tika means fencing. Tika. You heard about Tika? Tika. Tika. Commentary. It is for fencing. It is for fencing. So that people will not deviate from the pure Siddhanta. So there should be people who are knowing the Siddhanta very nicely. And it doesn't mean those who know the Siddhanta, they are more elevated, than those who are not interested in Siddhanta, they are just hearing Krishna Katha. No. People who are interested in Krishna Katha, the mass, they should be protected. That is why there should be some Brahmins who know and then put the fencing. Put the fencing. So, yeah.
So just Krishna Katha is not enough. Just people sitting together.
That is the ultimate thing. That is the ultimate thing. There is nothing superior to that.
They should be protected. These people
That,
who are
we should
doing
protect.
Katha, they should be protected.
Protected.
By fencing with Siddhanta.
Siddhanta, yes.
Siddhanta. But the Siddhanta is very high. High philosophy. Not everybody can
This is
understand
not
it.
high means
Very high.
Radha Krishna Pranamur.
What?
Singing this song, Radha Krishna Pranamur, is the highest thing. There is nothing higher to this. This is lower. Like fencing. Something which is very intellectually difficult to understand, that doesn't mean it is higher. Especially I am talking this in this class to make sure that we should not think we are doing something higher than what others are doing. No. There is a special mission and a purpose of doing all these things. What is that? When people are sitting and hearing about Krishna, they should be peacefully doing it without being deviated. It's like a police. They organize a huge festival for Krishna. What do the police do? They don't take part in the festival, but because of them, the festival goes on nicely. I'm talking this not out of speculation. Baladev Vidyashram Prabhu, he says this thing. Yukti Kandakan, he says, destroyed all the mushroom like philosophies, so that Krishna Kridat Vidadhat, Krishna can come and play in that ground. Krishna can, I'll explain it first later, after, when we reach that particular place. But the point is, it is Krishna Krida. The only purpose is, there should be no mushrooms, like in a playground. In a playground, it is very nicely done. Krishna can play, and people can watch the play. For that, the ground should be clean. For that, there should be no intruders. For that, you should have security. You should have people who clean it. That is what we are doing here. Something very difficult to understand, that doesn't mean it's high. No. Something which is very difficult to understand is actually low. So people are like, high philosophy, Prabhu, high philosophy. It's all for higher people. No. It's a special job for special service. It is actually a service to Rasika Bhuvi Bhavuka. Rasika, who are the Rasikas? Bhagavatam talks about it. Relishing the no Bhagavat. Yes. So to protect them. Otherwise they'll go and sit in Sambhava. And again they say, he's also crying, he's also crying. No, you show, this cry is crocodile tears. You hear to this cry, no problem. But this cry is crocodile tears. Who is going to tell that? Who is going to tell that? Okay? So today evening we are going to talk about a specific thing. 6 systems of philosophy, we are not going to study them. We are going to study Bhagavatam. The whole purpose behind it is this. We are going to talk something from there, But we are not studying that. Yeah.
So Siddhanta
Yes.
protects
Yes.
devotees from deviation.
Yes.
And you're telling that it is not necessary to understand maybe Siddhanta.
We should not use the word necessary. Let us be more technical in presentation. If you use the word necessary, then it becomes Sahajas. It is not necessary for everyone.
For every devotee.
Not necessary. If somebody is not happy, is not able to sit in the class and relish what we are talking, that doesn't mean he is not a devotee. There are so many things. Make flowers, do garlands, hear Bhagavatam, think of Krishna, dance, chant, be happy. Isn't it? This is meant for some special kind of devotees who can do a particular kind of job. The job is a police job. No intruder should come. This person should not go anywhere else. There is a special job. There is a special purpose for this.
In the case of devotees for preaching.
Yeah.
So they should be very nicely equipped with understanding, with knowledge of Siddhanta.
Yeah.
Because they are doing the job
True.
of cleaning the
True.
playground
True.
of Krishna.
True. We'll keep this discussion in the evening. We'll come to go and it's an interesting discussion because I in the space in the notes I mentioned this thing. Prabhupada, he clarifies the contradiction very nicely. That particular section from Prabhupada's books I mentioned. Because on one side you find even the same confusion which Arjuna had. One side Krishna says fight, other side he says renounce. The same way, one side is said that enjoy Krishna Katha, Rasika Bhuvi Bhavaka. Other side he says study Bhagavad Gita and all these things. What to do? This confusion also comes, isn't it? Prabhupada has solved this confusion very nicely. That we'll discuss in the afternoon. But for now, we should understand that this is meant for very few. Like Mataji told us. How many? I came with the expectation of 10 devotees maximum and minimum of 3. But when I saw so many of there, how is it possible? How did they come? That was my question. That when I was thinking myself. And I know after 2 days you'll find only about. And it is not lost. There's nothing wrong in that. Because you got something higher to do in their in devotion. This is meant for a particular kind of people. Like for example, I always tell the parents, every parent wants their child to be engineer. Let him be musician. In the devotional world also, this is meant for some specific kind of people. It is not meant for everybody. Everybody has to do 6 systems of philosophy to go back to God. What is this? This is absurd. It's only like everybody. Somebody, a pujari says, everybody has to learn puja to go back home back to Godhead. Everybody has to learn yajna to go back home back to God. It is absurd. There should be some devotees who should know yajna, so that anybody wants to get married, anybody wants to open their house, they should call them. According to Gopal Bhatta Goswami Satkriya Sardipika. Isn't it? In the same way, there should be some devotees. Of course, there should be minimum things we should know. We are not against that. But specifically talking about these finer aspects of these things, that it's not compulsory for everybody. They should know. If somebody doesn't know, he's lower. That kind of idea we should remove from the mind, please. I think we went somewhere else. Okay. Where are we? Yeah. The Puranas. In the Puranas, as a matter of course, Vyasadeva has certainly given description of the glories of Krishna, but not as many as given to religiosity, economic development, sense gratification, salvation. The 4 items. Okay. We have the list of Puranas here. Categorized according to the modes. That Xerox I'll give it to you. Now here, we have mentioned Puranas, Itihasas and Kavyas. Anybody can tell what is the difference between a Purana and a Itihasa? Yes.
Puranas is
nice. So Puranas means history, the real histories. They talk about all the kings in the two Vamshas. Surya Vamsha and Chandra Vamsha. All the kings. They give the entire list till the last king. Last kings of these two Vamshas are described in the Puranas. They left this world that stopped around 2000 years back, 2005 years. Last king. Now people say, I'm Chandra Vamshka, Surya Vamshka, it's all Apabrahmashas now. Now there are no pure Surya and Chandra Vamshas line existing. Among these Vamshas, one king is very famous and very great. He cannot be described in just few chapters. It requires a separate description for him. Like in Chandra Vamsha, Krishna appeared. For him, Mahabharata. Take. In Surya Vamsha, Ramachandra appeared. Ramayana. Take. So that is how one king is described very elaborately, like Bhakti told just now. That is how Itihasa. Like in the Puranas, we have this Bhrigu story. How he went to the Lord and kicked on the chest. That story is there. And that is where Bhagavatam ends. Bhagavatam doesn't describe further. Somebody would inquire, I want to know what happened later. Then there is another Purana mentioned. There is one as Upapurana. Called Padmavati Purana. That is where the story of Venkateshwara comes. Balaji, go to South India. Tirupati Balaji story. Where is the story? It is not in Bhagavatam. It is not found in any of the 18 Puranas written by Vyasa. That story is found in Padmavati Upapurana, which is one of the Upapuranas of Vishnu Purana. Now, when Padmavati's story has been explained, how Padmavati again came, Lakshmi came and then came to this earth, the whole story of Venkateshwara, then somebody asks a story, somebody asks a question, no, I want to know about why is it so that Bhrigu had lost his eye? Where did the eye come from? The eye in the foot. Another story. That will be there in Upakhyanas. Do you see? It is like in computer you have folders. One folder, within one folder another folder is there. Within another folder another folder is there. In this way, the Puranas expand into Upapuranas. The Upapuranas expand into Upakhyanas. Now somebody says, such a wonderful story. I heard it. But I want to do a drama out of it. I want to do drama now. And that is known as Kavya. All the dramas, they are coming from Kavyas. In the Kavya, the person who is writing that Kavya, he is given the license of imagination. There is a beautiful lotus flower. And it was quite cold. Cold which never people have experienced. It is not in the Puranas, but the imagination of the writer, that scope is given. So that the Kavyas, they present one aspect of the Purana in such a wonderful way that everybody's mind is completely engrossed. I saw a drama in my childhood of Krishna giving sari to Draupadi. 7 days, every day 3 hours. Only one scene. Only one scene. Every day the same setup. Duryodhana is sitting, Bhishma is there, everybody is there. Same scene every day. And the dialogues which they speak, people cry. People cry. One scene, 3 hours. In the middle, when Draupadi is calling Krishna, she is not called really word Govinda when Krishna comes and gives a sari. And one of the audience would come and say, Draupadi, why Krishna? I will come and give sari. You don't disturb. One will come on the stage and says, 100 saris, take. And that goes to the temple. So that is Kavya. And the Kavyakaras, the people who write the dramas, everyone speaks a dialogue. Bhishma speaks a dialogue. And somebody from the audience would come and speak a dialogue. And people would cry, saying that this is what Duryodhana is doing. It is not in any of the Puranas, but the gist is there, that how you cannot, adharma is there, and how Krishna, a devotee cries for Krishna, Krishna comes at the end. Last day Krishna comes. In all the 6 days, Krishna doesn't come. And then on the last day, you find Krishna he just comes and goes back also. Last scene, Krishna comes and you have the saris coming and everybody is paying obeisance to him. That is Kavya. So see how you have so many Siddhantas, all these things. Is devotion meant only for somebody who has got something in his, some thorn in his mind? No. It is meant for everyone. Even an ant is a soul, isn't it? So that is how these Vedic literatures, the acharyas, everyone, they have made a system so that the highest voltage of Krishna consciousness to reach to everyone. That is how the Vedic literatures are arranged. Generally, I organize a lot of dramas and a lot of Bharatanatyam dances and all. So, one devotee came, Prabhuji, you see, you are very intelligent and all. Why are you sitting and spending 3 hours here? I told Prabhuji, hey, this is what is our life meant for. To see Krishna consciousness in the form of dramas, in the form of music, in the form of nice, wonderful descriptions about Krishna. Krishna is Uttama Shloka. Uttama Shloka means what? He should be glorified in the choicest of the words. The best of the things. So, I'm just speaking all this because we are talking about Puranas. Puranas, they describe in this way. Of course, when it comes to Devi thing also, they talk about like this only. That is there in the Puranas, description of the deities. But a real Pauranika, even after the entire Saptam, after 7 days of speaking on Durga, at the end, what he says? At the end, I have personally seen in my childhood, at the end, ultimately, Sarvadeva Namaskaram Kesham Pradigacchati. And he talks about Krishna at the end. Means, there is a famous saying, means, you pay obeisances to all the demigods, ultimately they are paying obeisances to Krishna. Now, there is a particular system, of course. We don't follow that thing, but ultimately, we should understand there are millions and trillions of people in this world, and how to make everyone Krishna conscious. That is the goal of the scriptures. And these scriptures are like a web, like the spider's web, to catch everybody's mind and then bring him to the lotus feet of Krishna. That's the thing. Okay, Itihasas and Kavyas, we discussed that. And ultimately, a small topic about Pancharatras. We heard a lot about Pancharatras. If you remember, when we discussed about Agamas, we talked about 5 Agamas. There is first is Shakta, and then Shaura, Ganapatya, Shaiva, Vaikhanas. Vaikhanas Agamas are meant to worship Vishnu. But to worship Vishnu in the age of Kali by Vaikhanas Agamas is impossible. Why? Because to worship Vishnu through Vaikhanas Agamas, one should be a Brahmin, born in a Brahmin family. Now, Kalu Shudra Sambhava, nobody is a Brahmin by birth. If you go to Vaikhanasa school and then say, I want to learn your worship, they say, you can learn worship, become a Brahmin and come. They mean to say that you die, next life, take birth in a Brahmin's house and then come. That is what they mean to say. Because they are so elevated, they see continuity of life. They see, they're not hating that person. They're saying, you do some pious activity, and anyhow, by doing pious activity, you will get birth in a Brahmin family. So you take birth in a Brahmin family and come, we'll teach. So when they say you, they are addressing you in the next life also. They have the idea that there is next birth at least. It is not actually an insult to that person. Then it is not an insult. It is actually they say, you come, take birth in the next life and come. So Vyasa knew, even in the next life also, who knows, you will have Brahmin qualities. So I have to give a procedure. Vyasa is thinking like this. By which, in this life itself, a person can become a Brahmin. How to become a Brahmin in this life itself? Then Vyasa, he wrote the Pancharatric scriptures. Pancharatric scriptures make a person a Brahmin in this life itself. So that he can worship the deity. The purpose of Pancharatra. You take anybody, and put him in the process of Pancharatra process. Brahmin initiation. So the Acharya for this is Sripad Ramanuja. Ramanuja's incarnation was specifically to establish the Pancharatric system in the entire world. All the planetary systems everywhere. Interplanetary system also everywhere. Ramanujacharya. Pancharatrika. He went to Jagannath Puri to do the same thing. But Jagannath told, let it be as it is. Here you don't do. At present, purely 100% Vaikhanasa worship is carried out in one temple only. You want to know the temple's name? It is known as Uppiliyappan temple near Kumbakonam in south. I don't know how many of you have been there. If you have gone to Trichy, Srirangam, just about 2.5 hours journey from Srirangam, you must have gone there. You are born there. You are born in Kumbakonam. He is born in Kumbakonam. There is a big Lord Shiva temple there. So I had the opportunity to go there. And if you go there, you find there are some leaves and some flowers which is not of this yuga. The water takes also of not this yuga. Because Vaikhanasa Agamas requires such things. How will you worship? In the Kali Yuga, there are so many flowers which are not grown on this earth. So many things. You may do all kinds of hybrid and all these things, but some flowers think it's not fit place for me to grow. Kali Yuga is not a fit place or fit time. And the water. Those things are available there, so they worship. Apart from that, you find only 50% or 60% or even sometimes only 20%, sometimes not even a single percent of Vaikhanasa. It is only Pancharatric scriptures which is feasible in the age of Kali. What worship we do in our temple is Pancharatric worship. What initiation we get is also Pancharatric initiation. When we went to my hometown along with one more brahmachari, I was talking to one elderly person, a Brahmin. Then the conversation went on. The other devotee told, Prabhuji, I got a Diksha last year. He asked, what initiation you got? Yeah, what initiation? He was completely confused. Then I told him, no, we have Pancharatric initiation. It's a Pancharatric initiation. Then he paid obeisances. He is a Brahmin, very high class Brahmin. And the devotee along with me is not born in a Brahmin family. But as soon as he came to know he got a Pancharatric Diksha, he paid obeisances. Immediately. He was not knowing. But once he came to know, Pancharatric initiation is a high voltage initiation. It's high voltage. It is not an ordinary thing. Sripad Ramanuja explains it in a very elaborate way, which Bhaktivinoda Thakur has presented in one paper. 3 papers print out, that's all. You can read it anytime. Which talks about 5 things. That is Pundra, Nama, Tapa, Pundra. That paper, at least our Bhakti Shastri scholars should know that. Should have that paper and should have read it thoroughly and should have memorized it. Otherwise, Mataji, don't give Bhakti Shastri certificate. So, the process of surrender, according to the Pancharatric system, is explained in that particular paper. And he condensed a full book of Sri Vaishnava Sampradaya in just 3 papers. Bhaktivinoda Thakur's expertise. Very, very, very powerful. High voltage initiation. Just imagine, somebody has eaten cow and he just comes and then he's put into this line. Comes out a Brahmin, he's doing worship of the Lord, he's chanting Purush Sukta. How is it possible? It's high voltage, isn't it? It is like somebody is mad. He is giving medicines. But somebody is super mad. He is giving electrical shock. So this Pancharatric process is like that. Pancharatric initiation is like that. Getting up early in the morning, hearing Mangalarti, chanting. That 1 year or 2 years we spend before initiation, that is actually known as Purascharya. Technically it's known as Purascharya. We say it's new devotee. But it's actually Purascharya, which Sanatana Goswami did. Before we went to Chaitanya, what Sanatana Goswami was doing? Purascharya. He was having assembly of Brahmins, he was hearing Bhagavatam. He was hearing from the Brahmins, Sanatana Goswami. He knew all the 18,000 verses, but still sitting and hearing the class. Brahmins were speaking Bhagavatam, he was hearing class. Purascharya. So, that is the preparation to take initiation. So, why I am talking all these things? Because one should not take what Prabhupada has given as ordinary. Even though somebody says it is extraordinary, you should know how extraordinary it is. How wonderful it is. It is like some layman telling Prabhupada did a great thing, as a scholar telling Prabhupada did a great thing. Because he knows when he uses the word great, there is a weightage behind it. So we as Bhakti Shastra students and Bhakti Vaibhava students, when we say Prabhupada is great, we know how great. Prabhupada so tell this thing. God is great, but you should know how great. Because he has not left a single Vedic thing unaccomplished within his system. Posture is there, everything is there. And that is why great scholars, when they hear, they pay obeisances. I was shocked when this Brahmin, who was so elderly, I did not pay obeisances because he has seen me right from childhood. As a baby he has seen me. So he thought, okay, he has done joined ISKCON and all. But there is a devotee who was assisting me. And he came along with me to my house. Then he saw, and it was okay, some ISKCON devotee has come. But he told about Diksha, and I told, we have got Pancharatric Diksha. As soon as he told, he paid obeisances to him. So he cannot do it to him because that kind of rapport is not there. And the devotee is quite junior, and he's not such a scholarly person, but he still paid obeisances to him. Then I understood what is the meaning of Pancharatric initiation. So, coming back to your point, Pancharatra, there are so many books of Pancharatra, 108 in number. You can read it later on. I'll just give class because, yeah.
This Pancharatric most powerful, I think the Prabhupada, he understood that he knew that power.
Yeah.
And on the power of that, he established so many things.
Yes.
I just wanted to clarify, before when you were talking of the Yagyas, saying that, the Brahmins that you perform these Yagyas,
Yeah.
Vaishyas, Shudras, women, they cannot do that.
Yeah.
Even the mantras, the Vedic mantras,
Yeah.
they were saying they cannot do that because of the birth.
True.
But now, through the Pancharatric Vividi,
Yeah.
that is changed.
Yeah, that is changed. True.
That's why Srila Prabhupada established
Yeah.
what he established in our society,
True.
which is being challenged today by some. And we have
See,
to
those who
strive
challenge, they don't have knowledge.
greatness in
Yeah.
this way.
Mm.
Because I think that the greatest praise that can be of Srila Prabhupada, if it's a low-class person who's
Mm.
not very elevated, then that's the greatest praise and the truth.
Yeah.
That the Pancharatric system
Yeah.
is actually working.
Yeah.
And one can transform himself in one lifetime.
Yeah. It's true. That we should know this is Pancharatric system. It started with Ramanuja. Ramanuja, when he went to Melkote, just about 10 days back I was in Melkote. He went to Melkote, a small place near Mysore. What did he find? I was giving a class for about a couple of hours and comparing Prabhupada and Ramanuja. Ramanuja went from east to west. East is Kanchipuram, and he went to west. That is Melkote, is in the west. Prabhupada went from east to west. And how he went, Prabhupada, in desperation he went. Ramanuja also went in desperation to save his life. And Prabhupada also went from east to west to save his life's mission. Isn't it? Couple of hours. I just don't know how the time went by. Every incident with Ramanuja, he met the hunters in the middle. Hunters could kill anybody. As soon as these hunters, they saw some sadhus come, immediately asked, "Oh, have you heard about the great sage Ramanuja?" I compared with how Prabhupada met with sort of heart attacks, and that ship's captain, how the captain of the ship is so horrible, and how he dealt with Prabhupada. Oh, he was surrendered. First this book distribution, Prabhupada did it to the captain of the ship. Captain of the ship, I don't know how, you haven't met any captains, I have met any captains. They are the most horrible people, the most sinful people in the world. And immediately they became surrendered. And the captain of the ship and their hunters surrendering to Ramanuja. And there he went to householders. And from there he went to Melkote. In Melkote he found all Adivasis. What do you call it? Tribals. And they were not doing anything. And Ramanuja, he thought, how to, they're all suffering like anything. First he gave them food, Ramanuja. He built a dam with his own hands. He started plowing. And then took mud and put it on his head and then started pouring mud. They also started doing. And a huge lake was formed. Ramanuja is a pioneer. He's a civil engineer too. He built a dam which is lasting for more than 1,000 years now. A huge lake was formed, everything. And they all surrendered. As soon as he surrendered, he was not finding where the tilak is. He has to put mud. And immediately the Lord came in the dreams. He told, there's mud there, which was originally brought from the Shvetadvipa, as known as Tirumannu. And Ramanuja took that anthill mud and then put it on top. First he put tilak. Like Prabhupada also, what did he do? Take tilak kantimala. Forget what you have done in the past. Who are you? Same thing. Pancharadik Acharya. You can find Ramanuja in Prabhupada actually when you study the whole how it happened. So he also transferred. Pancharatra is that high voltage thing. Like a madman, he comes, you put the voltage, immediately he becomes okay. And you put anybody and everybody, just put it in the Pancharatric system. That is how this system is so powerful and designed. So, coming back to the point, we have Pancharatras. 108 of them. Most of the Pancharatric scriptures, the speaker is Lord Shiva. Narada Pancharatra is not spoken by Narada. Spoken by Lord Shiva to Narada. Most of the places. And Narada also spoke what he has heard from Lord Shiva. Originally, of course, it comes from Krishna, but many of the Pancharatras are spoken by Lord Shiva. Now, for us, the Pancharatra and Narada Pancharatra is there, but for more practical and condensed guide, Prabhupada has given Nectar of Devotion. Nectar of Devotion is the procedure of the Pancharatric thing for us. And Nectar of Devotion says you should perform Arati. How to perform the Arati, what kind of Panchapatra should be used, what kind of metal should be used, what kind of shape should be there. The details are there in Hari Bhakti Vilas. That's all. You have Hari Bhakti Vilas and you have Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu and Narada Pancharatra. So in this way, you have the last chapter. Prabhupada has given the Pancharatric things in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. He has given the Upanishads in the Bhagavad Gita. He has given the Vedanta in the Srimad Bhagavatam. And he has given the Purana in the form of Chaitanya Charitamrita. You study these 4 books. Prabhupada writes at the end. In our Krishna consciousness movement, last page. In our Krishna consciousness movement, we have therefore limited our study, Prabhupada's own words. Study of Vedic literatures to Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita and Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu. Bhagavad Gita is the essence of all Upanishads. Okay? Srimad Bhagavatam is the Vedanta, natural commentary on Vedanta. Chaitanya Charitamrita is our Purana. How to perform devotion? Purana means what? Like Chaitanya did. Isn't it? You find in Chaitanya Charitamrita. And Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu is a practical guide. How to conduct, code of conduct. These 4 works are sufficient for preaching purposes. They are adequate for the understanding of the philosophy and spreading the missionary activities all over the world. Understanding the philosophy and spreading the missionary activities around the world. You may say, why you require Nyaya Vaisheshika? That is the second question which we have gone. That is the second half we'll discuss. Nyaya and Vaisheshika, whatever we are going to do, it is only based on these 4 books. Don't think I am going to bring a book from Nyaya and then open that book and then read it and explain it. And that is what I am definitely not going to do. Take a book, Patanjali Yoga Sutras, I am going to open it. I may quote from there. But this course is not a study on the 6 systems of philosophy, it is a study of. I hope you are subtle enough to understand the difference. A study on and study of. Okay.
Shastra says that Vaishyas, Sudras and Brahma, they cannot do fire sacrifice.
Yes.
And also, on the other hand, it says they accept Vedas.
Means?
It's like you said that Shudra means he accepts Vedas.
Yeah, accept Veda means you can participate in the fire sacrifice, not in the sitting and doing the Om Keshavaya Swahidam Nama, Om Idam Keshavaya Namaidam Nama, Idam Idam Vasudeva Idam Nama. You cannot do that. He can bring all the articles, do his work. No problem.
What is this real disqualification?
Means to be doing that hota, means to do that activity of sacrifice. That he should not do. That he cannot, that's not allowed to do. Like a new devotee who is not initiated, do you allow him in the altar? He is not allowed in the altar. Same thing. But doesn't mean he will not deity worship. He is just looking at the arati, you will get the same benefit of doing the arati. That's the thing.
Well, if he has the Pancharatric Diksha, then can he do or still he can?
He should do. As soon as he is Pancharatric Diksha, he got initiated as a Brahmin, immediately just put on the altar. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur did not do because of local practices. Like, I should not get into these topics, but we should discuss also because we are in an elite firm. But don't quote me here and there and all. Like for example, in India, the Mataji sitting in the Vyasas and giving a public lecture is not accepted. But in the West, well and good, why not? Prabhupada made it. Prabhupada, many times he asked Mataji to sit in the Vyasas and give class. But as a local tradition, we don't accept it. Further, like Bhaktivinoda Thakur has never put a Brahmin initiated devotee who is not born in Brahmin family in the altar. He did not do that. Because local traditions are very strong. He had in villages all the Gaudiya Mats. And if they find that, yes, he is born in this family, how is he in the altar? But Bhaktivinoda Thakur was a person who spoke that Brahmanas, Vaishnavas, that thing is there. But so when it comes to practicality, he followed certain things. That is management. We don't want to get into deep of depth of the management. That is a simple thing. Like in the West, if the Mataji goes and does the puja in the altar, philosophically, absolutely right. Take it. Philosophically. If she is clean, she is not having any contaminations, go on the altar, do puja. You are initiated by an acharya. But in India, we say, how can women are there and all these things, people talk. So your whole time goes in answering them. A big headache. It happened in Veera Road. It is not in the main temple hall. It's in I asked one, Mother, you give a class. And all the local congregation, they start agitating. What is this going on? It took about 3 days for me to break my head. So who is going to waste the time? So then I told, okay, you do your program in your house. You take class in your house. So it's just Got the point?
Still we need someone to protect the student.
Yeah. What? See, management is a practical application of philosophy. Management is practical application of philosophy. So there are so many higher things to be achieved. It's management. We don't want to discuss management here. But the principle has to be understood. The principle is, the moment you go through the Panchalatik process, you initiate with an Acharya. Because actually it is not the person who is initiated. It is the person who has initiated. That person has to be recognized. It is not me. Like for example, somebody passes through IIT. Who is he? IIT, he has given certificate. That works. So, I think we have quite a kind of overview of what Vedas are. Because without this knowledge, entering into 6 systems of philosophy or any other thing will not have much value. So I thought of giving a overview of these things. So, it's 1 o'clock. It's 10 to 1, 3 hours. How are you able to sit? I don't know. Hare Krishna. Oh, study on and study off. Okay, study off means I take the book of Nyaya and I'll teach Nyaya, what Nyaya is. Study on means I study Bhagavad Gita and analyze Nyaya through Bhagavad Gita or Bhagavatam. I am not studying Nyaya. I am studying Bhagavatam. But talking about Nyaya, how Nyayas are right, how Nyayas are wrong, where they are right, where they are wrong, how much they are right, how much they are wrong. But actually I am studying what? Bhagavatam.
Because Vedantis, they are studying mostly logic.
Yeah.
They are studying logic.
Yeah, that will be more clear.
Just pure logic.
Yeah. They are studying that book, but we are not studying that book.